Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hazel and Mia podcast. I know it sounds like the same thing, just a new day. And pretty much that's what it is. Just a new day, and we're hearing the same regurgitated news over and over again. And it is starting to panic a lot of people. A lot of the reason why people are panicking is because we have no idea what is true and what is not true. I don't know how many times over the past couple of weeks I've heard that the president of one of the Middle Eastern countries is dead.
Yeah.
And then videos come out showing him talking or having coffee or something like that. And you notice some irregularities, and then there's posts that this is AI and he isn't really in the video. They're manipulating the videos. And the biggest problem that there is that our content creators around the world are getting really good at this.
Yeah, they are. And that's the thing, guys. As you can see, we are real.
Because we really could not do this podcast. Or we would be putting out such a bad podcast if we
as you can see, I still got difficulties with my lighting. I've even got the strip light up behind me. But I know my friend's daughter watches our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
She's a filmer and an editor. She works for a billionaire.
Yes.
So I'm hoping to see this. So Miss Kay, shall we call you? Because I know you don't like to be out there. Send me some tips on what I need to do.
You know, I think that the world really just needs more videos like this, where we make mistakes, where our lighting is not good.
Yeah.
And we stutter and cough and sneeze. And talk to people in the window.
Door.
Yes. Because, you know, people, you know, be honest with you, fake news is not something that's new.
No,
this has been going on for the ages. Even when people you really trusted would come to you to tell you something about somebody that you thought was perfect.
Yes.
Or they said something about you that you were really already embarrassed about, and so it made you feel like you didn't want to be around that person.
Yeah.
And we never stopped to think, maybe I should ask them, did they say that about me? Or ask them, why would you tell other people something like that about me? To get a better understanding, because literally people say back in our day, there was a game called the telephone, and people said something and somebody else would repeat it and they would never get it right. It's human nature.
Yeah. Over here, we call that Chinese whispers.
Chinese whispers, okay.
Yeah. Because by the time you've got to the end of the story, Joe Bloggs have killed Miranda, who's living down the street, and Miranda have run away with one of Joe Bloggs' kids. And that's how things get twisted.
Absolutely. And when you were playing the game, it was fun to hear how the story changed. But when it was affecting your life, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And now, people who are in control of our countries are playing this game, and it's affecting our lives.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine that someone idolizes someone around the world, and they want to believe that everything they say and do is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, regardless of what they say, they want to believe that this is their idol and they could never do anything wrong,
Yeah.
making that person inhuman, because humans make mistakes.
Yeah.
Humans do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And that's
And
the
if
thing that we have to keep in mind when we're also looking at AI generated
you
content.
look at AI, guys, it looks so realistic. It really, really do. And sometimes you got to watch it a few times to pick up that actually the mouths are not moving
Right.
with the volume, sort of thing, or the movement is quite robotic. But they're so clever, and they're clever at doing it, of making you thinking all sorts.
Well, you know what
And
I
that's the
think is,
scary.
I was going to say, what I think is really scary is you're doing a live performance, and um, they're speaking and saying things they really shouldn't be saying. And
Yes.
they'll realize later when the recordings are played back, and usually they're played back all over the country, all over the world,
Yeah.
the live videos. And they want to make it seem as if, oh, this was AI generated. I never said anything like that. And making you believe that this content could be manipulated so easily because AI is that great that while you're doing a live performance, your words are being changed.
Yes. Yes.
And commentators, big name commentators, are coming out and spewing this as well to
Yes.
make you believe that, hey, what you saw on a live recording was not what you actually saw.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that makes people go crazy. It makes people believe, hey, I can't believe my own eyes. I didn't hear that. I didn't see that. And if I can't believe the things that I see in front of my own eyes, wow, I that makes me either an idiot or I'm being extremely manipulated. And I don't want to be manipulated.
I'm
I
gonna
want this person that I idolize to be telling me the absolute truth. So everything that he is saying is the absolute truth.
and I'm gonna drop an example now. How many times on social media have you seen something flash up about a celebrity that's passed away?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Then
my
you
God.
and then you go into Google to research it, and it's not true.
Right. Or then they come
And
out
that's
with their
how
next
things,
movie.
yeah, yeah. And that's where things start to go downhill. That is exactly fake news, as we are speaking about. Because when a celebrity dies, it hits everyone who liked that person.
Right. Absolutely. And that started, um, I think it started early on in social media,
Yes.
because they wanted to get content out there that would get a lot of people's attention. So they
Yeah.
talked about this celebrity dying. And there used to be a government run platform called Snopes that would actually tell you whether or not that news was fake or true. And I don't know how efficient it is now, but there are still other websites that are trying to put out facts and correct things that are no longer that are not true, that are being said.
Yeah.
And it it's still a work in progress because you can't get the truth out there fast enough. If everybody is reporting on a lie, the lie grows. And in all honesty, because we're humans, we prefer the rumors. We
Yeah.
prefer to hear bad things about people than we do prefer to hear the good things about people. I mean, recently we had a national figure pass away, and terrible news, terrible posts were
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
from high level people, and it didn't reflect the life of the person that passed away. But
No.
if you followed or idolized the person who was putting this post out there, you would believe exactly what they're saying, even though they will say negative things about anyone they don't like, and they want you to also not like that person.
Yeah.
And how often have you experienced in that life? Maybe it's happened to you where someone else didn't like you, and so they started telling your close friends bad
Yeah.
things about you that weren't true.
Yeah.
And it made people around you start to look at you differently until they asked you, hey, is this true?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that gave you an opportunity to say, hey, that's not who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the difficult thing in friendship circles. You all think you get on, but there can be that one bad apple that don't like somebody. Then that bad apple will start spreading around them all. But you know what? The way to do it is just go into the group as you normally would and say, I've heard a rumor. I don't know where this come from, but I'm not happy about it. Because then you're shutting that rumor down before it gets any further. But the
Exactly.
damage is already done then, because people are speaking about you.
You know, I can tell you that with AI, there are a lot of things that they're trying to do. Of course, AI jumped out ahead of all of the new laws that could be made to avoid certain things like fake news.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, but it's normal for the lawmakers to be behind the gun to try and make laws that will stop things like this from happening. And they're working on these things. I mean, we're human and they're not perfect.
the thing is,
And
sorry.
literally, a lot of the things, what I found interesting, because I'm actually taking some courses in AI, and what I found interesting is that they had been trying to work on AI programs since the early 1950s officially. But it went back as far as the 1800s.
Yeah,
And they were studying people like Aristotle, Socrates. They were using them as the models to create AI tools, programs. And the reason was because they wanted to use models of people that they considered to be very intelligent, high morals, and to avoid this occurrences of the fake news coming out and people using AI programs for bad purposes.
yeah. And if you think about it, AI started a long time ago with TV adverts.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, guys, when you see a Burger King advert or McDonald's or anything for food, that's not real food.
Right.
That food is made up of different things to make it look real. So
Right.
if you think about it, that's where AI started. Because they're making things more and more realistic. They're not real.
Well, you know, the bad part about that is once they started creating things like that. They actually started putting it in the food.
Yeah.
And this is where we are now, because you hear fake news and they come out and say, oh, this is being added to the food. If you have food tested around the world now, you will find in certain countries there's more plastic in the food poisoning you than there ever was before. And the reason that is done is to save these huge companies money, because they found that if they can make the food in greater volumes by adding these additives to it, that saves them money. And they can feed this food to the animals that they are producing in their facilities. Where does the food go? It goes into the meat. We eat the meat, it goes into us.
Yeah.
That's where we get all of these diseases from.
And that's the scary thing as well, because there's lots of things. At the moment over here, you're speaking about diseases. There's an outbreak of meningitis.
Wow. Wow.
And that's all over the news at the moment. What they're reporting isn't true. You get the truth by going on to a proper news channel and getting the information, rather than what you see on social media. And
that is a good point that you're making. Yeah. Because any news that comes out, check the sources.
Yeah.
And you want to at least check 3 sources, 3 different sources.
Well, I always use Sky News.
Okay.
Because that's got to be verified before it goes on.
Oh, well, that sounds more like I don't have Sky News over here. That sounds more like a reputable news station that verifies their information, which is excellent. I mean, before AP News was very reliable, Reuters was very reliable. But then they started putting out news stations like Fox News. And in all honesty, the anchors are commentators. That means they can give their opinions about the news that is out there, not put out facts about the news.
We need as people who support the economy, as people who work, we need the facts rather than rubbish.
Right.
And that's putting it correctly.
You know, the thing is that, okay, so they were reporting that $98 billion had been left over in the military budget. And so they wanted to use the $98 billion rather than give it back to the people in the country who had paid all of this money in taxes, because they felt that, hey, if we don't use it, then they'll give us less next year. So we're going to use it all, even though we didn't need it. And instead of using it for purposes that could benefit the people in the country, if this is a defense budget, you would use it to give the military an increase in salary, or upgrade their weapons, or make sure they have the proper wear out in the field, all of those things. They used it to buy lobsters and things that you're not going to give to the military who are out in the desert fighting a war. You're going to use that in the home base for the lieutenants and the generals
For the pen pushers.
for the pen pushers. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now they want $200 billion. Well, what if you don't use all of that $200 billion? And what if, are you going to give it back to the people who paid their taxes and are suffering right now? No, you're not. You're going to use it to buy something else that the big wigs want.
Yeah.
This is eroding the trust of the people even more. How dare you come back and say, I need $200 billion for this because I just thought of this and this is going to be a great thing to do. But your people don't have health care.
Yeah.
And your people, the gas prices are going up, the food prices are going up. People can't afford their rent any longer or their mortgages any longer. What are you doing for them?
Or even, we all know when people leave the forces, they got nowhere to live.
Okay.
Buy something for these people to have a home that they are safe in because they have already fought for their country. That's the least you can do to them rather than go spending the money on junk.
Or even better, these people went out and fought in an area that they did not expect to fight in. Yeah. And nobody, unless you have been through a war, knows what war is like.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry?
They're going to need support when they come home.
They're going to need that support. Yes. The number of veterans who need the mental health care is astronomical. And that $98 billion would have been a great way to help those people who supported the country.
Yeah. It's like they don't live in the real world.
They don't. I mean, if you have a director of defense who has a makeup room in his office before he goes before the cameras, that's not a real world.
No.
How many other soldiers put on makeup before they go to fight in a war?
None.
Okay.
Because one, they don't need it because they're real people. And two, they're playing up for any cameras.
Hey, we didn't pick a card already.
Well, what I was going to do was pick two at the end because we got carried away.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, this is something that's really close to our hearts because we see how the world is being affected by it. We see the number of podcasts that are coming out that are trying to put out the real news and what you can do to tell what is being manipulated and what's not being manipulated is the podcasts that are giving you the truth are citing their sources. If someone comes to me and or if you hear on the news something like, so people are saying that this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And they're not saying who those people are who are saying it. It's because they don't have the real names or they don't have the sources to back it up. That's why they're saying people are saying. Now, one person could have come to them and said, this is what I think is happening. That doesn't make people.
No.
That makes a person is saying.
And if in doubt, check it out.
Exactly. Before you read it, if you are, or before you repeat it, if you are a higher level person on TV, then check out your facts before you start spreading that word, that news, because literally all you're doing then is playing that childhood game of telephone.
And that's what they want, because it's about scaremongering.
Yes.
Right, this is going to sound really bad. It's about making people panic buy. because then they know that they've got to renew all what's been used, and they can do that at a higher price.
Absolutely. It's called making money off your fears.
Yeah. And it's that oops moment. Perhaps I shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth.
Exactly. And if they're called on it, all they say was, well, that was my opinion.
Yeah.
That's my job. And literally, they have won court cases by saying something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a commentator. That's my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't cite any sources.
We are podcast producers, so that's our job.
Exactly. Literally, it's affecting people around the world. When COVID came out, the fear about COVID was being spread around the world, and ways to cure COVID were being talked about by our leaders who were saying, hey, try this. I don't have a medical license. I failed biology. I'm really not good with chemistry either. But I heard people are saying this works.
Stay in, isolate. It's okay, because we're having a champagne garden party.
Okay, exactly.
And that was the reality of it.
And it ended up causing more problems than not because people didn't want to believe it. So they weren't going to be a part of the fear mongering, and they weren't going to participate in using masks, even if it helped other people around them feel better.
Yeah.
They were going to go about their daily lives and nobody was going to stop them. And you can't stop me from coming in the store. This is a public place. Well, public places, grocery stores and things like that serve the public, but they're owned privately. They're not owned by the government.
Yeah.
And so if they have rules in place, such rules like you can't test the pieces of fruit before you buy them, that is a valid rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we should go ahead and pick those two cards now.
No, I've just seen the time. Blimey.
I can tell you, the false news also has a lot of economic and business damages, because imagine putting out some fake news about a company that's just starting out, or a restaurant that's just opened up, and you are a competitor of the restaurant, and this happens so many times. You just put a fake review on the website and it lowers their score. It makes people think twice about going and trying that restaurant and things like that, based on somebody else's review.
Yeah.
Not knowing whether or not they own a restaurant, they're a competitor, and they don't want that restaurant in the neighborhood working against them. So it has a lot of drawbacks around the world, and I really do hope that we continue to work on finding laws and ways to detect AI generated content, reduce the fake news, hold people accountable for these things.
Yes. Something I've got to give, because there was a big article in the news this week, and it turned out to be AI, and it was everything had blown up around it. Everybody was going crazy. And I'm not going to repeat that article because it was all rubbish.
Good.
So I'm not going to scare our viewers at all. But have 2 cards out this week, and they are really interesting ones. Right. We've got the 3 of Cups.
Up higher, higher, higher.
I'm just going down for people to healthy, there we go, friendships. So that tells me that people, they're still cutting themselves off from the outside world. They're still cutting themselves off and hiding away. I understand why you're doing it, but at the same time, even if it's a little walk, get yourself out there, say hello to people. You can't expect people to make the effort if you don't at the same time. And that's what's hard. I think since COVID, we have forgotten how to communicate.
Yes. I tell you,
by a phone.
oh, okay. Well, that's where the texting comes in, and people don't want to talk on the phone. They'd rather just send a text message so they don't have to be bothered with being presentable on the phone, especially now that you can see people around the world when you're talking to them and everything. But you can't express emotions in text messages.
No.
And I have to tell you that today we took Snoopy out for a walk, and we had gone to a new beach that we hadn't been to for a while. And there were so many dogs out there, and Snoopy wanted to meet every last one of them. And so, and here you have to be very careful because people do take very good care of their animals, and they're trained and everything like that. But some people are very sensitive and they don't know whether your dog is friendly or not, or something like that. And so they ask you when you approach, is your dog friendly? And you can say yes or no, or you steer the dog away if they have issues, anxiety issues or something like that. Yeah. And of course, Snoopy just runs up to every dog he sees and he's like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
But I kept thinking, wow, why can't people be like that? You pass each other on the street and you say hello.
Yeah.
It's a human thing. We need human interaction.
Definitely. And it's just simple things like opening a door for somebody to walk in. If they're younger, if they're older, it doesn't matter. It just means you're making their day easier.
Exactly.
And more often than not, people will say thank you once you've done it.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's interaction. And the last card is the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, where are we there? Look, she's holding a coin in her hand. That means, come on, guys.
Growth.
Get into gear. Start looking for those new jobs. Start having more confidence in what you're doing, and start having confidence in yourself, because you've got to grow.
That's the important thing. I mean, I know that there's a lot of anxiety out there, and we don't know what's true all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to start using your intuition and following your emotions. You can feel, if you pay attention, when someone is not of the same mindset as you. If you don't have a good feeling about being around that person, okay, leave. Don't be around that person. They're not for you. You'll only know that when you start paying closer attention to your emotions.
You got to remember that you are important. If you don't look at yourself in that way, you're going to feel deflated. And it's important that you feel important so that you can give everybody else around you the same smile, the same hello, the same how you doing. And that makes a massive difference as well.
It absolutely does. I have always been of the mindset that I was not put here to be unhappy for one moment in my life. And you have to understand that your reason for being here was never to be unhappy either. And so if you are feeling unhappy, fearful, worried about a situation, then that's your intuition, your warning signs to say, this isn't for you. And when you
Yeah.
need somebody to talk to understand your feelings, maybe you don't understand your feelings. Maybe you are buying into the fake news that is out there. If you need somebody to talk to, then you have to find a trusted friend, somebody who may say to you, I don't know the answer to that either, but we can find it together.
Yeah. And my last bit of advice for you guys today is life is what you make it. If you choose to sit indoors, do nothing, and speak to nobody, nothing better is going to come your way because you're choosing to still live that lifestyle. Whereas if you get up, you go to the shop, you say hello, you're opening yourself up to more friendships. And that's what I mean. But when I say life is how you make it.
And we're going to end on that note. We want you to know that we are here to listen, to help, to say to you, I'm not sure, but we can find the answer
Yeah,
together.
yeah, definitely.
And if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for someone to just listen to your fears, reach out.
Yeah,
We appreciate you liking and subscribing to this video so that we can make more things like this. And we really just want to see a world that is happier.
yes, yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, goodbye, everybody, and we'll
Bye.
see you again soon.
You shall.